following is a video training module on global sourcing by businesstraining.com. Greetings and welcome to Global Sourcing. We are pleased you selected our program to make you acquainted with the task of sourcing product internationally. By doing this, you assist your company in having a competitive edge and seeking the most cost-effective way to produce a product. Over the past 30 years, sourcing product worldwide has grown very popular. Today, almost every U.S.-based manufacturing company sources product either directly or indirectly from a foreign supplier. In many cases, foreign suppliers have proven to be less costly when compared to domestic suppliers. These costs can at times be as large as 20 to 30% lower. These savings are sometimes realized due to lower labor rates, different productivity levels, lower profit margins, the weakening dollar against other monetary denominations, lower cost of input materials, and government subsidies. Only suppliers that are capable of meeting rigid quality and delivery requirements should be considered when performing comparisons. Unfortunately, too often cost becomes a driver behind which supplier is selected. Although international sourcing has become very popular, companies who are not accustomed to international purchasing face a lot of difficulties when starting the task of looking for foreign sources. One of the barriers is lack of knowledge and skills concerning global sourcing. There are different requirements when sourcing globally. Due to the time difference when sourcing from other countries, the communication aspects are different. Most of the communication will take place by email. There is usually only a small period of time, if any, where there is an overlap in the workday. Therefore, the written communication has to be clear and concise to ensure no misunderstanding of what is being purchased and how it is to be supplied. Resistance to change is another barrier. When changing from one supplier to another, there are many uncertainties. However, changing from a domestic supplier to a foreign supplier adds another element of uncertainty. It is very difficult to convince people that change, in some cases, is good. There can be resistance from management, co-workers, or even other purchasing staff. Entering unknown territory makes this a frightening, uncertain experience for many. It may be difficult to convince management that sourcing a product from a non-domestic supplier is a good change, especially since the lead times will be longer. This usually is a red flag to the sales team that it is not a good change. It will take a little more effort on the planning side, but it can be accomplished with no visibility to customers that there has been a change in vendors. Different business customs, language, and culture are large barriers to sourcing internationally. This is probably the most difficult barrier. It is important for the purchaser to understand what customs and cultural things will affect their flow of parts from a foreign supplier. For example, summer vacation in Europe can range from 2 to 6 weeks. Most companies will have a skeleton crew working during this period of time. Therefore, it will be important to give the supplier a forecast of your needs to make sure you will have a flow of parts during this period of time. The language difference is also a barrier when doing business internationally. Although the supplier may speak the English language, there may be certain words that have various meanings and therefore may be misinterpreted by the supplier. Also, the cultural differences can sometimes make it difficult to do business with a foreign company. Therefore, it is vital to educate yourself on the business culture of the country in which the potential supplier exists. Currency fluctuations can be a barrier to entering business with foreign suppliers, especially during a time when your currency is weaker than the currency of the country you are doing business with. The purchasing professional must educate him or herself with these key items of the country of the supplier in which they are planning to conduct business with. Likewise, the supplier has to understand these things about the country of the purchasing professional. Logistics is another issue when deciding to source from a foreign supplier. There is a lot more required paperwork to import or export product than it is when doing business domestically. Some of the additional required information is letters of credit, multiple bills of landing, uh, dock receipts, import licenses, certificates of origin, inspection certificates, insurance coverage certificates, packing lists, and commercial invoices. There are companies available which can be hired to help your company with some of these tasks and to make it less taxing on the purchasing team. Finding and qualifying non-domestic suppliers may be very difficult. It is becoming more tolerable due to the growth and popularity of outsourcing product to foreign companies. Recently, there has been an increasing amount of sources for finding quality non-domestic suppliers. One of the most popular sources is international directories. These directories are sometimes targeted at a specific market, but they are usually available online. Another source is by visiting trade shows. More and more international suppliers are showing presence at trade shows. Also, there are a growing number of trading companies available to assist purchasers with selecting and qualifying suppliers. These companies supply assistance in areas such as quality audits, evaluating suppliers, negotiating contracts, managing logistics, inspecting shipments, expediting, and performing duty classification. Also available is talking with other purchasing professionals to get recommendations of foreign suppliers they may have used. When soliciting quotes from non-domestic and comparing to domestic suppliers, you must understand the total cost of sourcing from a foreign vendor. It may be true that the part purchase price may be lower. The total cost of taking ownership of the part may be higher. There are many things to consider when evaluating the total cost of purchasing from a foreign source. Not included in the base price will be the freight charges that are usually higher from a foreign source because of the distance the parts travel to get to the final destination. Packaging requirements are usually more costly for foreign shipments. Customs duties fees must be added and can vary depending on the type of product being shipped. Insurance premiums, port terminal and handling fees are also additional costs incurred for doing business with foreign suppliers. In many instances, value-added taxes are added by foreign governments for products that are exported to foreign customers. All of these items have to be considered when performing cost comparisons between domestic suppliers and foreign suppliers. Thank you.